Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 8 instructional video. And I'm going to have to pause already to cough, I'm sorry. Sorry. That's a really good reminder to thank you so much for your flexibility and your patience through last week and your well wishes. I appreciate it. Still working on total recovery, so hang in there with me. What I'm going to do is talk about where to go, what to do, with a few reminders along the way, and then at the end talk a little bit about our written response feedback. So let me just jump right in. We have quite a bit to cover. All right, if we go to the content area, I just want to remind you that on the left-hand side, we have quite a few areas that I want to make sure that you're familiar with. If you click on the start here, remember that that's kind of a quick glance at some of the information. And I want you to also know that we have an area for student success. So some links and things that can be helpful, but of course, if you have specific questions about your success or if you're dealing with something outside of class, you can always reach out to me. All right, there's also the D2L and Tech area with that very important link to the Virtual Learning Assistance Center. That's just kind of definitely a place to bookmark, especially if you're taking all online courses, because it just has all the information in one place. It's very helpful, so just keep that in mind. All right, if we scroll down, I'm going to take us to week 8. And this week we have some reading to do. It's an article entitled What Americans Can Learn from Other Food Cultures, and that's by Amy Choi. And then we have another reading titled Evaluating Sources, and it's by a set of editors, including Lunsford. We will give Lunsford credit. She's the overall text editor. You can find those by going to Book and Additional Readings in this area. Okay. We have the weekly video, which you're watching now. I appreciate that. I have moved the MLA video up 1 week because I think it will be helpful to start thinking about and reviewing these things before we move ahead, especially as we're considering all of our feedback from the written responses that we submitted previously. You're going to take some time to review that written response feedback that's coming from me. And if you are not seeing yours yet, it will be available by Tuesday at noon, and that's at the latest. I am, grading those as they're turned in. So if you turned yours in just a little bit later, just keep looking back. Once your grade is posted, that means the feedback is available. Okay, so you're going to view that feedback and then reflect on it. You're going to submit a form that I have that just is encouraging you to really think through my feedback, Turnitin feedback when it comes to grammar or ideas or anything that you have questions about. It's just a good way to think about, your writing and your process, and to give me some feedback. All right. And then there's a participation quiz. So you do have a coalition post that's due on Thursday, and that's 15 points, but there are no responses this week required because we do have that written response reflection. I put it's nice to offer some insights to one another, to know that you're not just writing this out where nobody's going to read it. Of course, I'm going to read it, but it's nice to have some feedback from your peers. Just saying. Their participation quiz is there, and then that written response reflection that's due on Sunday. So if we scroll down, you're watching what will appear as number 1, and then the MLA video. It is from, admittedly, a different semester, but I keep coming back to it because it has helped students in the past, and it covers a lot of areas that are just always kind of things that we need to review. Hair is a little different. It's okay. Same ideas. All right. In the review section, we have a link to Choi's article, to Lunsford's chapter, and then this is noting how to actually view feedback. Some of you may be familiar with how to do so in D2L. This is specific to me. So this is where you go to course activities, click on assignments, you go to this section, you'll see your work listed here and the evaluation status. You'll click on it, and then, so don't click on this, because this is what you submitted and it won't have any feedback. You want to click right here, and then you'll see the view Turnitin grade mark, and that's what you'll want to click. These are hyperlinked, and I put a reminder here when you get to Turnitin. And you'll probably have to agree to the terms or any of that if you haven't used Turnitin. You don't need any login information. It will take you directly to your paper and my feedback. I'm going to pause to cough again. Excuse me. And if for some reason you're having trouble getting to the Turnitin, make sure that you're clearing your browsing data. Make sure that you are using Chrome. It's just another one of those quirks that I can't explain, but sometimes those things work. And if those don't work, then we need to reach out to our Office of Technology Services. When you open your feedback, on the right-hand side will be this kind of list with icons. You need to make sure that the blue section is selected and that the purple section is selected. Typically, when you immediately open your document, they won't be selected. So you won't see any of my comments. You won't see any kind of grammar assessments by Turnitin. You'll just see the red comments. And those red comments are just letting you know where you've quoted information or where you have information that may appear in somebody else's submission from way back when. So a lot of times the title will be highlighted because that's a title that appears in various places across, all kinds of academic submissions. Sometimes you've chosen the same quote as another person. As long as you have used quotation marks, you've properly credited Finley for those ideas because our work was on Ron Finley's TED Talk. You should not be concerned with those things that are highlighted unless you have not followed MLA formatting guidelines, which I will note in your feedback, right? But it's also something, just be aware, okay? And so you can view the feedback that's in red, and then you can deselect it so that you can focus primarily on the blue comments, which is directly from me, and then the purple comments, which is more D2L, noting some grammar things that could use some updating. Okay, so that is how to view, excuse me, that feedback. My computer feels like I do right now, sorry. All right, so if we go back, those are the things to review. You have your week 8 quiz, which is due on Sunday. Your coalition discussion, which is due on Thursday. I'm gonna pause to cough again and I'll come right back. Whew, okay, so this this discussion post is asking you to look at Amy Choi's article that is assigned. It's called What Americans Can Learn from Other Food Cultures. And you're going to view her work through the lens of this chapter that we're reading on evaluating sources. So essentially, you should read Evaluating Sources, that chapter, because it gives us some really good ideas about what's the work we need to do to make sure a source is reliable and credible. We're going to apply those ideas to Amy Choi's article, okay? So you can list these questions and answer them. What's the title? Does it sound relevant to our topic of food? Who is the author? Do a search for our author and share what you find. If you find some good information, copy and paste the web link. We don't need a full-on works cited, that's okay. But if you're quoting information, you need quotation marks, okay? Who's the publisher? What do we know about the organization? Is this text cited in other works? See the chapter explanation for how to do that. I'm gonna pause to cough again. I'm so sorry. Oh, y'all are so patient. Thank you. All right, so you're going to answer these questions and do that work with Choi's article. And then I want you to write a paragraph responding to her ideas. This is just what was interesting, useful. This is your perspective. Use the first person, but make sure that you're working to offer Choi's ideas and give Choi credit for those ideas, right? So that's saying, Choi says this, Choi states that, right? We want to keep doing that in our academic writing to ensure that our audience understands the differences between what our ideas are and what our source ideas are. So what Choi's ideas are, or Finley in our written response, that kind of thing. All right, and I put here, please take some time to revise and edit. Download Grammarly. This is something I'm going to stress time and time again. Here's the website, it's grammarly.com. I'm not sure why people don't have it. I think everybody should download it. And it's just something that adds another layer of kind of editing to your work. So when you open a Word document, Grammarly will jump in and help if they see something that needs adjusting. And you still make the decisions because, y'all, nothing is perfect. Grammarly's not perfect. It won't catch absolutely everything. The Microsoft Word spell and grammar check, not perfect. Even a tutor isn't going to catch every single little thing. I'm not doing that in my feedback. You're the ultimate editor, but why not use all the tools that are available to you? So download it. Why not? All right, so that's the discussion. If we go back to week 8, you also have the writing reflection assignment, and that's after you viewed the feedback. I'm going to pause one more time to cough. So it is a form to fill out after you've looked at the feedback and really taken some time to understand it. Just type in complete answer, complete sentences, and upload that as a Word file or a PDF. If you did not submit the work on time, there were several folks who, for whatever reason, weren't able to submit the work. Now is the time, because we have to have that work for our eventual portfolio assignment. So now, do it now. So I've posted the prompt here for those folks. All right. I'd also like to take some time to review, based on what I'm seeing in some of the work. A lot of times we take comments about our writing personally, and that's very understandable. When we write for somebody else to view, we can feel judged. We can feel very vulnerable. So I want you to know, I want you to read my comments not with a negative tone, not with a judgmental tone. This is me offering feedback that you can ultimately take or leave. I mean, there are some that you should really take, right? But there are some notes that I may say, this is up to you. Make your own decision. This is just a comment. So don't take it personally. I'm going to pause one more time. Don't take it personally, because I'm definitely here trying to support you and give you some useful feedback. The feedback is not exhaustive, meaning like I just said, I'm not going to know absolutely every single thing. If I say that you need to place the period after the parentheses for every quote, do that for every quote. I'm not going to point it out every single time. So again, you're coming in, you're learning some of these things, you're reviewing some of these things, make sure that you're applying them throughout. I put focus on Finley's analysis and his ideas rather than generalization. So in that first paragraph, you're focusing on Finley's ideas and why are they important. Don't move into generalizations about, in America, we really need to do something about access to produce. That's all important, absolutely. But in that first paragraph, really stick to Finley's ideas, give Finley credit for those themes. I may not have been as clear as I should have been in the original instructions, so that's why I'm kind of offering you that. I didn't count off anybody's grade if they moved a little bit away from that, because again, I may not have been as clear as I could have been. Please make sure you have strong topic sentences. Some of you I referenced, you had this great topic sentence, and with each sentence you start moving away from that. Remember that those topic sentences are setting up our readers for, okay, this is what this paragraph is going to dig into. These are the ideas. So when you start moving away from that, it can cause a reader to lose track of your ideas, to be confused. We want a smooth process, our reader to start from the very beginning and read smoothly without stopping to the very end. Things like grammar, things like organization issues, that can halt the reading and made it complicated. So we're not focusing on your ideas, we're focusing on trying to figure things out. Be picky with quotes. Pick those that are most important. Don't just randomly drop quotes in, and make sure you're introducing them, explaining them, and giving credit for them, and using quotation marks. And I several times have rewritten a sentence for you or rewritten a section. Feel free to take that word for word. That's not considered plagiarism when it's something that I'm giving to you as a suggestion. So feel free, or put it in your own words. Use the template. I don't know where to go from there. Download Grammarly. Okay. I did want to point out that when you view the feedback, take time to do so, but these are things that many of you will see, either the blue or the purple missing quotation mark. Sometimes this is confusing because students are going, well, why do I need quotation marks in this section? That doesn't seem to make any sense. What is Dr. E talking about? This is a stupid visual that they've put and turn it in. I am so annoyed by it, because what it's really saying is that you're missing a comma. There's a little comma here in quotation marks that sometimes it's just not very visible. But if you click on any of these bubbles in your feedback, it will open a dialog box that lets you know what the issue is. So take your time. And y'all, you've got this. You've absolutely got this. So everybody is doing the best work I think they possibly can. I've given you a lot of feedback, hopefully. So take it to heart, not in a personal way, but in a productive way. But always let me know if you have any questions. And that's really what that reflection is. It's letting me know if you have concerns, if you have questions, that kind of thing. But if you have any general questions, post that in the Q&A discussion board area. And again, I appreciate all of you so much, especially your ability to be flexible and your willingness to do so. So have a great week.